We are in Shaar Daled, Parak Beis, and as I pointed out, I believe the whole sefer is not only connected to Shaar Daled, Shaar Aleph Beis Gimel, which is obvious when you write a book. It wasn't like a kuntras at the end, although Shaar Daled is considered in the world of yeshivas a limud b'fnei atzmai about how to learn Torah. It's obviously there's a build-up here. And it gets to the more important thing than that. Not only it's a build-up, but this is the main thing I think that he wants to point out. So let's just 10-second review. According to there's the chakira that's in front of us is the unspoken chakira is that why do we do mitzvahs? Why do we learn Torah? Basic. And there's two ways to make it to oversimplify the issue. There's two ways. One reason that we learn Torah and do mitzvahs is that Hashem put us in this world to be misakin the worlds. Somehow we're like malachim. All malachim have a business to do and a job to do, and Mazel Tov Yisrael. All the malachim have their things to do, whether in the world of Atzilus or Bria or Yitzira, wherever they may be. We're malachim of Asiya, we're people. We're here for a relatively short time, and our purpose is to do whatever we have to do to be misakin the whole Olamais. That's how Kadosh Baruch Hu created us. Why, what, we don't really know. Another way to look at it, which is much more inspiring but not necessarily true, is that we're here to do Torah mitzvahs and thereby be misakin ourselves. Misakin ourselves means that we become better people, like we come into this world to become better people or to be misakin our neshama should be a better neshama, and we go back to shamayim, to the olam haba, and we get a higher seat than we would have had we have not gone through this tikkun. So presumably our neshamas were here at least since Har Sinai. And they'll be here, they'll be there, wherever, to greet Mashiach, and you want to get the best neshama possible out of this. So there's two possibilities, tikkun olamos, tikkun ha'adam. There we talk about the Nefesh Hachaim is against tikkun ha'adam, which is sort of the obvious, but he's against it. And he said a number of reasons that he was against it. Most important one is he doesn't think that that's true. He doesn't think that the purpose of Torah is to be misakin ourselves. And what can happen is, in Prakim he spoke about Sifrei Chasidus. Now he's attacking the Musar movement, which didn't even exist yet. But if it's all about getting more inspired and becoming a better neshama, so then we would have to emphasize, or we will emphasize, the parts of Torah which are more inspirational and get us close, make us feel closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's not the case. Everybody with me on this? You hear me? In other words, the nafkamina between whether we're oisik and tikkun olamos or we're talking about tikkun ha'adam is what we will choose to do, what we will choose to learn, which mitzvahs we'll do. A person says, this mitzvah really speaks to me. If a person says, what can I say? I just really feel inspired and spiritual when I do this mitzvah. So then that's the mitzvah I will do. What about a mitzvah that doesn't really make me feel so good? So then I won't do it. So if your kavanah is tikkun olamos, so the Baskol says to Rabbi Yid, I really don't care what you find inspiring or what you don't find inspiring. You got a job here, do the job. Otherwise you don't get paid. It doesn't make a difference whether you like the job or you don't like the job or whether you find it meaningful. So with this idea, he says that what will happen is, and we're going to read this quickly, but I just wanted to say it first so we can read it quickly. You're going to say, well, if the main thing is my avodas ha'adam, my personal avoda, if that's the main goal, so I'll learn Musar all day.
So they're not coming in by learning, I understand, but it's moving that we do Torah mitzvahs because there's a tzivui, according to both Mahal, right?
No. No. In the Sifrei Chasidus, the lashon they bring is a lashon from the Zohar, actually, is Taryag mitzvahs heim itin, means they're eitzos. Itin means eitzos. Itin liyasher es lev ha'adam. It's a tzivui, but the tzivui is one big tzivui to make yourself as inspired and as great as possible until you become a halak and neshama. Or is the tzivui much drier and much less geschmack, but if it is, it is. That's what it is, that we're here for tikkun adam. Now, that doesn't mean, by the way, let's say the case of learning Torah, he's going to speak about the ikar mitzvah limud Torah is to have a geschmack in it. The ikar mitzvah limud Torah is lulei seiros chashashuai as avadati b'ani. But that doesn't mean that's the purpose of it.
But according to the Muslim movement, though, wouldn't it be that approach? We do it with the tzivui. Now that we're doing the tzivui...
So we need to be machalik between the Musar movement and Sifrei Musar, because the Musar movement didn't start until 100 years after Reb Chaim Volozhin. But it's interesting, I think I might have said this last week, it's interesting that the Musar movement was founded, if you will, by Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, and Rabbi Yisrael Salanter was a Talmud Muvak of Rav Zundel Salant, who was a Talmud Muvak of Reb Chaim Volozhin. So, that's funny, no? So, like, but here, let's just see inside a little bit. Parak Beis, yeah.
If a person, conversely, if a person has certain gifts with certain desires, in terms of his Avodas Hashem, so how does he deal with it under those two perspectives?
You see, I'm wondering the same thing, but let me phrase the question a little bit differently. If the purpose of Torah is tikkun olamis and has nothing to do with my own tikkun, so does my own tendencies or my own talents and abilities, does it play any part in the whole business of limud Torah? And do you see the Gemara says that a person should only learn mashali by chafetz, but malkam shali by chafetz. So you see there is such a thing. So I don't find that a steer at all, because it could be that everybody has a chelek in Torah. And maybe you have to learn the whole thing, but everybody has a part where they're going to develop an expertise, and that by your IQ, by your personality, that you can know from different ways. But it doesn't mean that it's for me. You know what I'm saying? The nuance here is important, and we're all capable of this nuance. Just because I'm doing what I'm good at, that doesn't mean I'm doing what's good. What I'm doing it for myself. It means like a CEO is hiring a bunch of people. They'll hire everyone according to their strengths, beseder. But it doesn't mean that you're doing it for you. We want you to have a geschmack, very nice. But it doesn't mean that it's for you to get better. Like I say, in a way, let's call it the Hasidic way, is so much more inspiring. Hence, there are millions of Hasidim. But on the other hand, like if we look at it like we have a company, and I'm hiring you to take care of the machine room and you to take care of the computer room, and I want you to enjoy it, and I want you to work to your talents. It would be silly not. You're not doing it for you. You're doing it for me. You're only doing it to be masak in the big company, and the big company in this case is the world. So on the one hand, this is much more geschmack, but this is much more hagyoni.
The two approaches are not mutually exclusive. They could both be true.
They could both be true, but they become mutually exclusive when you emphasize one over the other. So that's his point, that if one emphasizes the tikkun atzmai, so what you will end up doing is learning Sifrei Musar or Sifrei Chasidus all day long, because that's really what talks to me. I'll tell you something which is just slightly related, but for years and years and years, so my main job was to do Kiruv Rechaivim. So people say you worked with Balei Tshuva. I didn't. I worked with completely non-frum people. Was there Balei Tshuva? I sent them away to wherever. I didn't work with too many Balei Tshuva unless they just didn't leave yet. Not because I threw them away, but because then all of a sudden they need a school and they needed this and they needed that, so they're gone. So I'm working with completely non-frum people. And the derech was just very interesting. The derech was, because I couldn't think of another derech. The derech was, I'm talking now 40 years ago, the derech was to go find the community leaders, meaning the president of the federation, the president of the Reform Temple, the community leaders, and to approach them and say to them that I'd like to study Torah with you, maybe a half an hour a week. I'll come to your office, and we'll study Torah. And I thought that would be, just bring Torah a little bit. I didn't make them put a kippah on or anything like that. Just study Torah. And I would argue that, look, you're running the Jewish community here. You should know a little bit about Torah. That was my argument, and it worked. So within a couple of months, I was studying with 60 people a week, half hour. So 60 people a week.
Where, in Buffalo?
In Buffalo. That's why the entire Buffalo is from. Look, it had its effect. It definitely had its effect. But the point I wanted to make was, at the beginning, I would say, I want to study Torah with you, and whatever you want to study, that's what I'll study with you. That was my, and they would always say the same thing, like they want to learn how to read Hebrew, they'd like to learn more about the prayer book. But then I realized after a couple of months that they shouldn't learn what they want to learn. They should learn what I want them to learn. In other words, I know better than them what I'm trying to accomplish. Right? So, and by teaching people AJOP bets, it's useful, or the prayer book, which they didn't use, that might have been good, but that might not have been the best optimal way. So the Liboy Chafetz, I'm just saying that the Liboy Chafetz was limited to the amount of Chafetz that they knew about. It wasn't, they didn't know to say, okay, teach me the sugya of Yiur Shaloi Midas. I've always been curious about that. Or what many people would say is, like, if you're a doctor, I want to learn about medicine. I want to learn. Okay, so that's better. But here's the secret story. Almost everybody, intelligent people that I would study with, I told them I want to learn Gemara, Talmud, and they didn't even know what Talmud was. And I always learned with them Sanhedrin and Zion, which was the sugya of Mitzamtzim. So Mitzamtzim, nothing to do with Mitzamtzim. Let's change channels. Mitzamtzim means the sugya of if somebody's got their head in the water, let's say, swimming, and you don't dunk them. You just put your hand there and don't let them come up. That's what the word. That's what Mitzamtzim. That's what sugya is. Are you chayav ritzicha or not? Yeah, like if you don't give them the way to Hatzalah. Mapitom, because I found that when I'm learning that, people got so engaged, and they whether they were doctors, they were interested in the Rega Misa, lawyers were interested in it regularly, which all of a sudden they were Isaac and Torah, and I felt that had the biggest hashlama, more than where they belonged. Now, I don't know if I was right or wrong, I can't bring a proof for myself, but I can tell you that it was a much more sophisticated, and people saw the godless HaTorah. People saw the godless HaTorah, which you don't see from the prayer book necessarily, unless, we got to that too. And that brought more people to Limud HaTorah than anything else, just to see the godless HaTorah.
So it was appropriate, because you were giving them that.
Mamish. Should I? Right, you want me to hold you down? Or very good. Okay, this is my story. So, Nefesh Hachaim, Perek Beis, and then Perek Gimel to the end of the Shaar goes in two ways. Perek Beis is very short. What is Torah Lishma? Don't think about mitzvahs Lishma, think about Torah Lishma, meaning Limud Torah Lishma. Do we do it here or not? Are we learning Lishma right now or not? So what is Torah Lishma? And he starts off by saying what Torah Lishma is not. What isn't Torah Lishma? So he says, Inyan Esek HaTorah Lishma, Ha'emes HaBorer, what's clearly true, is Ki Lishma Ein Pirushai, this is what it's not. Ein Pirushai Dveikus. It's not about Dveikus. You see, with those people that I learned with, I could have learned Musar. That might have been the smartest thing to learn. Right? Ein Pirushai Dveikus. Learning Torah Lishma is not about feeling a oneness and a closeness to Hashem. As most people think. Sharei Amar Rabbi Seinu Zal b'Medrash, listen to this raya. Chazal say in Medrash, Sheichertay, which is Medrash Tehillim, Aleph, it's just about the first Medrash in Tehillim. Bikesh David HaMelech olav Hashalom milafanav Yisbarach, that David HaMelech had a prayer. And his prayer was, Sha'osek b'tehillim, that somebody who says Tillim, that's what it means, Yechashev etzla yisbarach kilo haya osek b'negoyim va'ahalais. Tillim is for the simple people, say Tillim, don't even know what it means. And Ahalim v'negoyim and ahalais is considered the most difficult sugyas of Tumah and Tara. And David HaMelech had a bakasha that I want people to take this Tillim that I'm writing, and I want their Asik and Tillim to be just like Negoyim v'ahalais. Haresha Asik behilchas hashas be'iyun v'yigia. So you see clearly the what? From the bakasha of David HaMelech. Listen how a Rosh Hashiva learns a medrash. So you see from David HaMelech's bakasha that Tehillim was nothing like Negoyim v'ahalais. Right? By the fact that he had to be mavakesh from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, let Tehillim be as chashav as Negoyim v'ahalais. So we see what's chashav? Negoyim v'ahalais. Why is that? Tehillim is much more inspirational than Negoyim v'ahalais. So says Reb Chaim Volozhin, if you're looking for the inspiration, there's no need for a bakasha. So David HaMelech saying that even though the Asik and Tillim is not Negoyim v'ahalais, and it's really all about inspiration. It's about David HaMelech's own life and how he got through it. I mean, that's what the whole Tillim is about, his regesh. Nevertheless, let it be as chashiv as Negoyim v'ahalais. Later, Reb Chaim Volozhin points out that Hashem never answered. We don't know the answer to this, if it is or it isn't. Like a lot of times in the Medrash it says, Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem says, okay, let it be. Okay, it's chashiv. We don't know. It's interesting, if somebody has a problem, we don't usually tell them, okay, go learn Negoyim. But David HaMelech saying, I want the Tillim to be as chashiv. Haresha Esek behilchas hashas be'iyun v'yagia. From here we see, Hu inyan yoiser na leva'ov lefanav yisbarach me'amiras Tillim. Good. Be'im noimar, and if we're going to say, Shalishma pirushay dveikus dafka, and if you want to learn that the pshat in lishma, I'm learning Torah lishma. What does that mean? That I'm being mistabik with HaKadosh Baruch Hu at this moment. Rak bazet toli kolikir ninei sagatar, and that's why we learn Torah. Ein dveikus yesh nifla me'amir is Tillim karoi kol yoyim. So zak Tillim a whole day. After dveikus, v'gam mi yodea im hiskim HaKadosh Baruch Hu ayodei bazeh, and we don't even know what Hashem answered David HaMelech. We just know that he had such a bakasha. If you look up that medrash, you don't see ma tshuva heshivahu yisbarach al sheiloseh. We don't see what Hashem answered. And in the parentheses, which is, by the way, written by Reb Chaim Volozhin's son, he's obviously asking the question, where do we ever see that Hashem answers? The Gemara there, same thing, that David HaMelech asked about tefillah, and there the Gemara says that tefillah has to be Rachme Omar Hashem. So we see that Hashem answers. Okay.
I'm sorry for oversimplifying it, but would Reb Chaim want to say that learning Torah is not a means to an end, it's the means, that is the end?
That's the end. Just learn Torah. You're not oversimplifying. You're synopsizing the entire 50 pages that we're going to learn. Meaning, look, let's not lose our track here. We could all go. But let's not lose track. What we're trying to define is what the word lishma means. Nobody disagrees that there's an Indian of lishma. Torah lishma, everybody agrees. The question is, what does the word mean? Word. What does it mean? L'shem what? Lishma means for the sake of. How do you finish a sentence? Shmuel, you're smart. How do you finish a sentence? L'shem what? Lishma. Dikta, for the sake of. For Torah. Or Hashem. Two ways to go. Lishma. I mean, how would you say?
Those aren't two different things.
Of course they're different. They're completely different.
Torah is Hashem, right?
No, don't do that. But
I'm saying that, like,
am I learning Torah for the sake of learning Torah. You see, like, let me give you the mashal. It's just so vital to understand. But I remember once in a yeshivish discussion, we were sitting around the breakfast table, and people were talking about why they're eating breakfast. I went to that kind of yeshiva. Why they're eating breakfast? And one said, I'm eating breakfast to have koach to learn Torah. Another one said, I'm learning Torah. I'm eating breakfast because ushmartem oidus nafshei seichem. If you don't eat breakfast, you're not healthy. And then the third guy said, I was the fourth. The third guy said, I eat breakfast lishma. I was listening, but I mean, I was eating breakfast. But no, look, what is it? Emes Savard, right? I'm eating breakfast because I want to eat breakfast. Like, what if you're learning Torah because I want to do anything? According to Nefesh Hachaim, it's already shaloi lishma. I'm learning Torah because Hashem said I should learn Torah, and that's why I'm learning Torah. That's what I'm doing. It's my responsibility to learn Torah. I'm not doing it because I'm mistabik with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Maybe yes, maybe not. I'm not doing it because it's a segula for Arichas Yamim. Maybe yes, maybe not. I'm not even doing it because I'm doing it because Hashem said to do it, and that's why I'm doing it. Does that mean I have no geshmak in it? I'm a robot? No. I'm having a lot of geshmak in it, but I get geshmak in doing a lot of things. I could read a novel and get a geshmak, but lahavdil. But I'm doing this because Hashem said to do it. Yes, so I'm saying that's the lishma that we're talking about. Is it mutually exclusive? It can be mutually exclusive, and here's the point: because if it's dveikus you want, here's the nafkamina. If it's dveikus you want, so would it be good enough to learn pick a masechta, or perek, or mishnah? Right? You can say over Mishnah mitamidu Shaar and Aaron. You can say this Mishnah all day long, and you're having some kind of a mantra and some kind of a dveikus. So what do you need to shiasig b'kol yom of dveikus? Like if somehow or another the words of Torah are making me close to Hashem, so say some words of Torah to make you close to Hashem, like have it as a pismoin. They did. Not to become close to Hashem, though, to make it have an impression on them. He don't like it. Like hein matzinu l'Rabbi Seinu Zal. You see, I'm saying right now this next sentence is a sentence I shouldn't say. The Nefesh Hachaim is going out on a limb here, trying to prove that if you have kavanah when you're learning Torah for anything, even spiritual things, it's wrong. And I think that the reason I'm saying that is because the rayas that he brings, no, unless I'm not learning it well. But it's hard to bring a good raya to this, except for, in his mind, I'm sure, it was obvious, A, that's what Torah Lishma means, and B, the other way is dangerous. I think those are the two motivating factors.
But as far as the thing on his right.
Well, let's do it. You decide yourself.
Question?
By the way, I'm not paskening here. Hasidim, we're learning a sefer.
The sources Hasidim seem inclined to quote for that sheet are seem to be from the Zohar. So is this a slant on the Zohar really that is it?
Well, I mean, he knew the Zohar back and forth.
Huh?
He knew the Zohar back and forth.
I'm saying, but is it
more Kabbalistic?
Is it a Kabbalistic slant that the Hasidim took?
Is it correct to say L'Shem Yichud Kudshabrichu before you learn Torah? The Chassidish yeshivas always admire them. They sit and learn all day with a hat and a jacket and a gartel. It's a davar shebekdusha. Whereas in the Litvish yeshivas that I went to, it's your shirt and your most comfortable thing, sitting back with a cigarette. I'm old. I mean, where's the?
Chazal, give us a tefillah to say before Luna. What's the question?
That I shouldn't be lekanter. The whole tefillah is not to be mekanter because he agrees that's shaloi lishma. If I'm learning Torah for anything else, l'mashal, to one up you, that's shaloi lishma. But it's not about dveikus. That tefillah is not about dveikus and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Read it. So the tefillah of Reb Nechunya ben Akana, which you're referring to, is not a raya. It's a very, very simple question. Everybody needs to ask themselves right now, why are you sitting here? Why am I sitting here? Why are we learning? I know why I'm sitting here. It's my job. But why you're, I'm for sure Shaloi Lishma. But why are you sitting here? Because you want to learn Torah. You want to learn Torah, right? I mean, you're not doing this, or are you sitting here and all day, wherever you're sitting, are you doing it to become closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with that limud Torah? That's the question. So let's look at his rayas. A couple of his rayas.
They can't be the same thing, those two things? Either because I want to learn Torah or someone because HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
It could be the same thing unless one is canceling the other. For instance, if you decide, okay, I want to be mistabik with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so I'll take a pasuk and I'll learn it. Or I'll learn only the parts of Torah that are inspiring to me. That's the nafkamina.
There are many other shiurim we could be in. So we can say, okay, I'm learning to learn, but I could be in a Gemara shiur.
Right.
I'm here, I'm in Nefesh Hachaim, so I feel Nefesh Hachaim will help me.
Or it's more enjoyable than the goyim and all those. There could be. I mean, there could be a lot of things. It's. Look, this is our job as from Jews to always ask ourselves why we're doing what we're doing. Question we don't like to ask. Everything. I mean, if I'm drinking a cup of coffee, there's many reasons why I'm drinking a cup of coffee. It wakes me up. I like the taste. I'm more sociable. I want to support an espresso. I mean, whatever my reason for drinking a cup of coffee, there could be 5-6 reasons, and they're not mutually exclusive. But it's important to ask if I'm buying a device. I have to ask myself, why am I buying the device? That's what a frum Jew does. Why am I doing this? Why do I live where I'm living? Why do I daven the way I daven? Why do I? These are good things we should ask ourselves every day. Why exactly do I daven Nesuch Ashkenaz? Why do I daven Nesuch Sfard? These are important questions that we have to question ourselves, I believe, every day, and it can make you crazy. Look, it can make you into a crazy person if you're always questioning. And so the question here on the table is, let me get to his rayas. The question here on the table is, why do I learn Torah? We all agree that you have to learn Torah Lishma, but why what's the L'Shem what?
Lishma is also according to the Gra, or this is?
I don't know. Loikein Matzina LeRabbi Seinu Zal, we find in Chazal that this idea of learning one Mishnah is not good enough. Sha'amra Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, because the Gemara in Sukkah talks about the greatness of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, so the Gemara says, Lo yiniach mikra Mishnah halachos hagados. There wasn't one drop of Torah that he didn't learn. Right? The Gemara speaks there about the greatest of the Talmidim of Hillel and the smallest of the Talmidim of Hillel. And then it talks about Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who learned everything. Why did he have to know everything? Why did he have to learn everything? Mashma, that he didn't suffice with learning a Mishnah or becoming an expert in a Masechta. So Yitzchak says, what's his raya? You get the raya? In other words, if the purpose of, I'm not sure I get it either, but if the purpose of Limud Torah was to be mistabik with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, would he have to keep on learning and learning and learning so many different things? Learn something, become an expert in it, or find the most inspiring thing and learn it. Why would he keep on going and going and going until he doesn't leave even over one Gemara, one Halacha, one Mishnah? That's his raya. What do you say? What's the raya? You get the raya? I mean, l'chayr, there's another mitzvah. Everybody's masking of v'shinantim l'vanecha. They have to know kol haTorah kulo. Divrei Torah mechudadim b'ficha.
He's also giving a preference of what a person should be learning, meaning that it's not subjective to the person. There is like learning Torah is not because of
There's a program here.
Right. In other words, you have like he's saying Gemara. He's talking about Tehillim makes you feel good. You go to Kehillat Shivtei Yeshurun, and you learn it. He's saying you have to learn Talmud, you have to learn Gemara. So it's not like this guy is inspired by, I like to learn Tanakh.
Right.
People are attracted to certain things in Torah. Maybe it helps.
And that's not the way to go, just learn everything.
He's saying, no, you have to learn Gemara.
Okay, so good. You're saying good. Sharp today, Shmuel. So in other words, the raya is, it had nothing to do with what he found inspiring. It had to do with, Hashem wants me to learn everything, so I'm learning everything. Clearly, he couldn't find every piece as inspiring as the other. I think there's another Nikuda, but this you don't know unless you know.
How do you understand that?
Okay.
Can't you say that you don't know what inspires you until you see it all? Once you've seen the whole breadth, then you can determine, okay.
And then he only learned part of it?
I mean,
I don't know.
I think it's not right because
You see, here's what I think, and it's a pella, that if you look up the Gemara in Sukkah Chav Ches Amud Aleph, which I did, there's an end to the Gemara which he doesn't bring. L'kayim mashakasav, that what the Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai didn't lo'hiniach mikra mishnah halachas hagados l'kayim mashenemar lahanchil oya v'yesh. That because that's the only way to get yesh. What's yesh? So the Gemara is mefarish. Ma yesh lahanchil oya v'yesh. What's yesh? That every tzaddik who learns Kol HaTorah Kula is going to be zoicha to shai olamais, 310 worlds. Which is maybe why he left it out. So, unless you're saying that, look, I'm doing my chiyuv, and I'll have a nachla of yesh. I'll have 310 worlds waiting for me. I don't know what that means. We learned in Torah Devar what that might mean, but it's not important for right now. But if anything, it sounds shaloi lishma. But on the other hand, could be, in other words, it wasn't what's making me inspired. I'm doing a mitzvah. I'm skipping ahead, but I want to say this because I think it'll clarify something. This is, I want to just say over something I heard from my Rebbe, very chashuva nekuda, in halacha. Torah mitzvahs. Limud Torah mitzvahs, not all one bag. Torah mitzvahs. It's always called Torah mitzvahs. You find different halachas by Torah and you find different halachas by mitzvahs. One of the halachas you find by Torah, which you don't find by mitzvahs, is that mahu b'chinam af'ata tiya b'chinam. That when you teach somebody Torah, you're not allowed to charge money to teach them Torah. Okay, so the Gemara says, well, how's a Talmud Chacham supposed to live? So he's only allowed to charge Shaar batola. He's allowed to charge what he could be making according to his skills if he would be a lawyer or a plumber or whatever that might be. So you're allowed to charge up to that amount. So if you know that if I wasn't teaching Torah right now, I could be making one, I guess one has to be honest about this because every yeshiva bacher thinks if I wasn't learning Torah, I'd be making $500 an hour. It's just a yeshivish thing that they talk themselves into. But you think to yourself, like, look, I'm giving up whatever it is, let's call it $50 an hour to learn Torah with you. I'm allowed to charge the Shaar batola. But you're never allowed to charge. The important thing is for the Torah itself. Why? Because Hashem says, Mahu b'chinam, af ata tiya b'chinam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the Torah for free. You're transmitting the Torah, do it for free. So says the Gemara, and that's Paskin and Shulchan Aruch and Yeridea. That's a clear halacha. You have to teach for free. It's Bekoshi Tiru to take a salary to teach. It's Bekoshi Tiru. Mashain came by mitzvahs. By mitzvahs, Lo Matzinu, that you're not allowed to charge to do a mitzvah. Meaning, let's say I'm selling you an esrog, helping you get an esrog. I'm allowed to make money. L'chatchila. So Mila and Safras, the Gemara talks about whether there's a certain bracha of not giving a price. But we don't tell the moil that you're only allowed to take money if it's Shaar batola. We don't have such a, you could be a heart surgeon instead you're doing a Mila. That's not the point of it is. There's certain things that there was always a minhag in Klal Yisrael that a person did a Mila for free and you gave him a tip. Money. So, what's the difference between Torah and mitzvahs? Why is it that Torah has to be for free and mitzvahs lo matzinu, that a person has to do a mitzvah for free? But think of a mitzvah. I'm selling you tefillin, I charge money. Sefer charges money. The sefer charges money. Everything. That's kachaza. That's the way it is. Not like that with Torah. So this I heard from my Rebbe, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, that the pshat is that by mitzvos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us eitzes of how to serve Him. He's telling us these are the 613 ways of how to serve you. This is how you serve me. Put on tefillin, put up a mezuzah, buy kosher food. And it's us giving to Hashem. Meaning that it's us giving to Hashem. This is what we give to Hashem. Costs money. Costs money. Costs money to serve Hashem. Costs money to serve anybody. Torah is what Hashem is giving us to us. Here, I'm giving you Torah. Learn it. Mahu b'chinam avata tiyeh b'chinam. So Mamela, He doesn't charge for it. You don't charge for it. The transmission of Torah is something. So mitzvah is something we're giving to Hashem, and Torah is something He's giving to us. Yeah. Nafkamina is whether it's b'chinam or not b'chinam. Mitzvah doesn't make sense. The words mahu b'chinam. Mahu b'chinam what? If I'm teaching about the mitzvahs, that's Torah. If I'm doing a mitzvah, He didn't give us any mitzvahs. He didn't give us. He gave us mitzvahs to do. But He gave us Torah to learn. So there's a difference between an essential, fundamental difference between Torah and mitzvahs. Everybody looks blank. Does this not make sense? Yeah, clear.
So the mitzvah is based on the Zohar.
Eaten.
Right?
Kilu. That's what it means. I have eitzos in how to serve Hashem. Okay? There's no eitzos without.
Bottom up versus top down.
Yeah. But I don't want to make it like Kabbalistic, just like you are. If I'm bringing a bouquet of flowers to my wife, it costs money. There's no, and everybody along the line makes money. That's a different thing. That's the whole thing. All it is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us, Kavyachol, what kind of flowers I like. What's the best way to serve me? Put on those tefillin. Don't come up with your own ideas. I'm telling you what I want you to do. I want you to put on tefillin. It costs geld. I mean, that's the way it is. Okay, on this there's halachas. How much does Hashem want us to give? But be'etzem, it doesn't. There's no inyan of chinam here. No inyan of chinam. Torah is a different thing. It's a gift. Chemda genuza, hayab beveis genazav. Hashem had this chemda. Shabbos, Torah. These are gifts. Important yesod, because here's how it's going to manifest itself with us now. The lishma, take this a step further. This adkan divrei harav. I'm just saying divrei HaTalmud. The difference between the kavana of lishma by Torah and the kavana of lishma by mitzvahs is going to be entirely different. Let's think about it. What does it mean to do a mitzvah lishma? A mitzvah lishma means, like, I go back to my bouquet of flowers for my wife. I'm giving you this because I love you. I'm giving you this because I want to be big, because I want us to have a closer connection. I want us to be one. That's why I'm giving you these flowers. The kavanah is all about the dveikus, if you will. Kavanah, because that's what mitzvahs are. Kavanah of Torah, what did Hashem do? He gave us a gift. He gave us Torah. So learn Torah. That's all. Just learn Torah. Don't do it lakanter. Don't do it to lehiskois. Don't do it for other reasons. Learn Torah. This is clearly the same as the same chiluk, the same distinction as we just made. That Torah. What is the lishma of Torah? I gave you a gift. Use the Torah. It's like we're the person who's getting the flowers, not the person who's giving the flowers. So if we're getting the flowers, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to have the flowers. I'm supposed to have the flowers. I'm supposed to display them. I'm supposed to enjoy them even. But you gave the gift, so it's a good mashal, because the kavanah of the one who's giving the flowers and the one who's getting the flowers is completely different. That's the difference between the kavanah between the taich of lishma by Torah and the taich of lishma by mitzvahs.
Did we not say, Reb Chaim Volozhin says that, is it just tefillah or mitzvahs also we're doing to be mitaka in the olamos? So lishma is l'shem.
That's the same thing, because you're saying, why did Hashem give us this gift, and why does He want it to do it? L'saken elamos. Somehow Hashem understood that you could be misaken elamos. It's not. In other words, not for dveikus. It's not for tikkun olam. It's l'saken elamos. That's like what the Torah is doing, but it's not my kavanah.
We just said that mitzvahs we're doing.
No, but it's not for my personal dveikus with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Saken elamos means lishma. So
Flowers because that's what's going to be.
I think I'm giving the flowers, of Torah. I'm just thinking about the FedEx guy, like who comes to your wife with the flowers and he says, "I love you." Like, it's completely wrong. It's the wrong lamatim. That's dveikus. I'm giving the flowers because I'm a shliach to give the flowers. So the difference between Torah and mitzvahs is Hashem made me a malach here, made me a shliach. A malach means a shliach. Hashem made me a shliach to learn Torah. So learn Torah, enjoy it.
It is a mitzvah too.
It is a mitzvah.
It's
It's connected kulam unless it stands in the way of a mitzvah, right? So it's very interesting. Like, in other words, if there's a levaya, I have to close my sefer. Talmud Torah connected kulam on the one hand, like that's what's doing the most for the Ilamais, but the dveikus part of it must be interrupted. That has to be interrupted for a mitzvah that needs to be done. Okay, this is a sugya that we're going into, but it could be that the mitzvah shabai is a mitzvah lishma. Like, could be just two things here, which is like really, yeah, but it's mind-boggling. Like when I'm learning Torah, it could be like the tzvei dinamar that I'm doing a mitzvah of Talmud Torah, but if that's the whole thing, then you didn't learn Torah. Or the whole thing, and each one could go too far, right? Or it could be that I'm learning Torah because I'm supposed to learn Torah. So learning Torah lishma, according to Nefesh Hachaim, has a new mashmois. If we have 2 minutes, just like to skip this rayim and we'll go back to it, but I just want to read the first paragraph of Parag Gimel, just so we understand this. Until now, he was explaining what it's not, and he brings another raya that you have to learn a lot of bekiyas. Aval emes, what is lishma? Let's just leave with this paragraph. Aval emes ki inyan lishma pirush l'shem haTorah. Lishma means, the word means l'shem haTorah. Lishma. I'm eating breakfast lishma. Va inyan k'moshe pirush harosh zal, and this is a beautiful rush. Al Maimer Rabbi Elazar Reb Tzadok, a famous Gemara of the Tana Rabbi Elazar Reb Tzadok, that he said, Asay Dvarim l'shem Paulam. Asay Dvarim, when it comes to mitzvos, Asay, Asiya, Asay Dvarim l'shem Paulam. Let me tell you the Gemara. V'daber bahem l'shma. See two things? Asay Dvarim, this is Rabbi Elazar Reb Tzadok. Asay Dvarim l'man pa'alon. What does pa'alon mean, David?
Function.
Its purpose. V'daber bahem, which means v'dibarta bam limud Torah lishma. So Rabbi Elazar Reb Tzadok is saying two things. Says the rush he brings here. Asay Dvarim, when it comes to mitzvah, is the Shmoi Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shepola Kol Amanei. I'm doing this for Hashem. V'daber b'hem l'shma, kol diburcha u'masoecha b'divrei Torah yiyo l'shem haTorah. It's a different thing. Not the lishma changes. The very definition of lishma changes from doing it for him to doing it for us, doing it for it. It, lishma. Kigoin leida or lahavin or lahaisiv lekach upilpul. To learn Torah, to be orangutan in Torah, to enjoy Torah, as opposed to, says the Rosh, v'loy lekanter u'liiskais, as it shouldn't be to criticize others, to be bigger than others, to be more. It shouldn't be for gaiva. It's like, when one gives a get. When one gives a get, so that what the Baal Masader Gittin says, say after me, this get should be l'shmi, this is the Baal HaGet, l'shmi u'l'shma u'l'shem Gittin, right? That it has, there's l'shmi, what does that mean? L'shmi, l'shma u'l'shem Gittin, nothing to do with God. The whole thing has nothing to do with God. I'm doing this especially for me, especially for you, that's my kavanah, and to be Mekayim the halach of get. So, lishma doesn't necessarily mean anything religious at all. And that's what he's, I'm saying that too strongly. It doesn't mean that I'm doing it for dveikus and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You don't give a get for dveikus and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but it has to be lishma. A get has to be lishma. It has to be l'shem the get. Not just lishma with her in mind. It has to be l'shem the get. So there's a correct definition of lishma, which means l'shem Torah, as opposed to l'shem dveikus. Okay, we'll continue.